welcome to this video input for the pink work booklet for Tuesday the 12th of May. So today we are going to continue looking at adding 3-digit numbers and tens, but we're going to start thinking about adding when we have an exchange going from our tens column to our hundreds column, and we're going to continue using our place value grids to help us with this so that we can build up to doing full column addition and subtraction. So when we add 3-digit numbers and tens, we have the rule that if we end up with more than 9 tens in our tens column, we need to do an exchange. Now, because we remember that there are 10 tens in 100, when we get to 10 tens in our tens column, we're going to exchange 10 tens for 100. So we'll have whatever tens we've got left over staying in our tens column, but we'll have added on an extra 100. So let's go through an example together. So we're going to do 176 add 40. So my first step is going to be to show 176 on my place value chart, and we always start with our bigger number because it's easier to add on from the biggest number. So in 176 I've got 100, I've got 7 tens, and I've got 6 ones. And the really important thing that we're going to remember as well is that when we are adding on tens, our ones column is not going to change. If we're adding tens, if we're adding hundreds, our ones column does not change. Our ones column only changes when we are adding ones. So we've got our starting number of 176. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 40. So my first step is going to be to show adding 40 without the exchange so that we can see how many tens over 10 tens we have added on. So I'm adding on 40, so I'm going to add on 4 tens. So here are my 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my next step is to work out how many tens I now have in my tens column. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 tens. So I'm going to swap 10 tens for 100. So these 10 tens are going to travel into my hundreds column. So I'm going to add on an extra 100. Then I'm going to cross out all of the tens that we've exchanged so that we know that we're not counting them anymore. So now what I can do is I can have a look at what we have got left. So we've got 2 hundreds, 1 10 and 6 ones. So our new number is going to be 216. So let's try one more example. So this time let's go for 392 add 50. So again, we're adding tens. Our ones column is not going to change. Our tens column is definitely going to change, and our hundreds column is probably going to change. So let's draw back out our place value grid. And I'm going to draw out my starting number again, which is going to be my biggest number. So I'm going to have 3 hundreds, 9 tens, and 2 ones. Okay, so I've shown 392. I'm going to add on 50, which is 5 tens. So I'm going to add on my extra 5 tens. Okay, so now I'm going to see how many more than 10 tens I've ended up with in my tens column. So remember, the maximum number of tens we can have is 9 tens. So let's have a look at how many we've ended up with. We've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we've ended up with 14 tens. Now 10 tens are going to be exchanged into our hundreds column. So we'll pick out our 10 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So these are my 10 tens that I'm going to exchange over into my hundreds column. So we're going to end up with an extra 100. We've moved these 10 tens over, so I'm going to cross them out so I don't count them in my answer. So our answer to 392 add 50 is going to be 442. So we've changed our hundreds column because we've gone over 9 tens. We've changed our tens column because we've added on tens. Our ones column has stayed exactly the same. So the big thing we need to remember is that we can only have 9 tens in our tens column. When we go over 9 tens, we can swap 10 tens for 100. Our ones column is not going to change at all, so our ones answer, if we're adding on tens, is always going to stay the same. So I hope that helps with your maths work today. Best of luck, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Goodbye.